And here we have a release from Cauldron. This is called the Collingswood Story. This is from 2002, proving that the releases of Cauldron are pretty well all over the place. We've had like modern day Giallo. We've had like what was that one? Rickshaw, American Rickshaw, which was kind of an odd little film. And now here's this from 2002. Now the main kicker to this is back in the day, or probably the early days when the internet was just first kicking off and becoming like a popular thing. So the prime gimmick of this one is that the movie takes place from the visual of a computer screen. So you have the full screen, not widescreen visual of a old computer window or a computer desktop, I should say, from the year that this come out. And there's a little chat box, which of course I'm a little bit more tech savvy than your average person. So I will say this much: in 2002, with dial-up internet, and that's clearly what they're using in this movie, the footage would not look as clean and clear as it does. It would be choppy, it would be blurry, and let's thank God they didn't go for that pure of a gimmick here, because if they did, it'd probably be unwatchable. So if you can get over the little naysay thing like that, it's actually quite interesting. It's about an hour and 20 minutes long. You got this guy and his it's this estranged girlfriend. Like they're kind of together and they're kind of not together. And she's like off at doing this thing, and he's at home, and they're just starting to use this chat thing on the internet where they can call in and look at each other and talk. And next thing you know, he's calling a few people, but he's primarily talking to her. And he has her call a psychic. And when she calls a psychic, she realizes that she's in a house of where like a dude that was part of a cult once lived, and he like killed his kids, and there's like creepy stuff going on. And it kind of freaks out the psychic. So in return, it kind of freaks out everybody else. This leads for her to go and investigate the situation, and there is your movie. Now, this is going to be an acquired taste for some. It's definitely not a movie that is going to be everybody's cup of tea, but if you appreciate stuff like The Last Broadcast and The Blair Witch, you might appreciate this just because of the gimmick of it. It's kind of like early day found footage, and if it wasn't for like a few scenes where, excuse me, a few scenes where we kind of like apparently seem to be recording the dreams of our main chick in the movie, you could pretty well say it was legit and copied off a computer and whatnot. Of course, if you look over the fact that it looks pretty good to be off a computer screen. But nonetheless, it's slow moving. That's the biggest thing it's got against it, is it's slow moving. It doesn't get in a hurry. 90% of the movie is just chit chatting with some creepy stuff happening within the conversation, especially with the psychic and then later on with the girl. The movie's a little bit slow moving, but if you can get into the story, it tells a pretty decent story, and of course, it kind of ends like you figure these movies always end. So, that being the case, I like the creativity, especially for the time that it came out. For 2002, it's pretty creative. Everything else, it's a little bit hitting here and there, but the acting's strong, and you could probably do a whole lot worse if you're looking for stuff in this neighborhood. So, that being said, this gets a 3 out of 5 for me, which means it's pretty enjoyable, just not amazing. Like I said, this is out from Cauldron. It's region free. Get a little tag in there. You get the disc. Also, you pop that out, and you get the original cover, which is going to be too dark to see, especially in my lighting I got right now. So it won't even do me any good to drag it out. But you can buy it. The extras has the behind the story, which is kind of a cool little making of with the director and how he came about with this whole idea and all this good stuff. You get some more interviews. You get some trailers. So fun stuff from Cauldron. You never know what you're going to get, but I recommend checking this out, especially if you are a fan of the early days of found footage. And this may be the very first movie ever made to where the movie is recorded technically from a computer screen. I know they did that later on, but this one may be the first.